Welcome to Grandma Dorothy's Kitchen. Thank you for tuning in. I have a good one for you today. I have a request for macaroni and cheese with lobster. Okay? So what we're gonna do first, what we're gonna need is the macaroni and cheese, and the macaroni. What you're gonna do is you're gonna boil it. Okay? Like the direction of the package says, and you're gonna drain it, and you're going to need we're gonna make a sauce for this. So you're gonna need a quart of milk. Whole milk is fine. You're gonna need Gruyere cheese. You're gonna need cheddar cheese. You're gonna need a half a cup of flour because we gotta make a roux. Okay? You're gonna need salt. You're gonna need a cup, I would say, of lobster. One lobster tail would be enough, and you can get the lobster tails that's frozen, and then you gotta chop them up and make them bite size. Okay? And you're gonna need a cup of sugar. You're gonna need this is butter. You're gonna need a stick of butter. Now remember, we use butter here at Grandma Dorothy's Kitchen because next week I'll be 75. No, next month I'll be 75 years old. And when we was in Mississippi, we didn't use margarine, and I don't use margarine. I use real butter. Okay, and I think it's best for you. And we're gonna need a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and we're gonna need a small onion chopped up, and we're gonna need 2 cloves. This is 2 cloves of garlic, and we're gonna need black pepper and salt, and we're gonna need the baking spray for our baking pan right here, so we can spray our pan. But the first thing we're gonna do is go to the stove, and we're gonna make our roux. Okay? So let's go to the stove and make our roux. Okay? And let me show you how it's done. So we're going to add 6 tablespoons of butter, and this half a cup of flour in the pot, and we're going to make a roux. Okay? So we're gonna stir it, keep stirring it until it gets brown that we want. And this is the milk right here. We let the milk warm, but after the flour is brown, we're going to add the milk to it. Okay? And then we're going to add the cheese, the 2 cheeses, and we're going to add all the other ingredients. The onions, the nutmeg, the black pepper, and the garlic salt. Okay, we're going to add it to our cheese sauce. Okay? But first we're going to make the cheese sauce by letting this brown, and we're going to keep whisking it so it won't burn. Okay? And then when we get to the right consistency, we'll add the milk and all the other ingredients, and then I'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like. I'm back, and this is what our sauce looks like. Okay? And so what we're gonna do is add the macaroni. Okay? All right? So we'll just add the macaroni to it. And I put the lobster in it already. You see the lobster pieces? The lobster should be cooked when you put it in. And you mix it all together. And then This is a little different from the regular macaroni and cheese because this has lobster in it. And so you make it a little different because it's special. Okay? So okay, so you got all the macaroni in it. Okay? So what we're going to do next is we're going to spray our pan with cooking spray, okay? Spray your pan real good. Okay, and this one we're going to cook uncovered. Remember the regular macaroni and cheese you cook covered, but this you're going to cook uncovered because we're going to put a topping on it, and we want the topping to get brown. So we won't put a top on it. Okay? You see the pieces of shrimp? Remember, I'm not shrimp, I'm sorry, a lobster, bite size. Make them bite size, okay? Because you buy a lobster tail and then you make it bite size. Okay? It'll come out to about, one lobster tail will come out to about a cup. So if you want two cups, you use 2 lobster tails, okay? All right? We paid for it, so we're gonna get it all out of the pan, okay? Okay? All right? Okay? Now, we're going to cook it at 375 degrees for 30 minutes. Okay? But first we're going to put our, these are breadcrumbs. You put your breadcrumbs over it. Okay? And when the breadcrumbs get brown, see, it's done because everything is cooked already. Okay, and we're going to use this butter so it'll help to brown it. Okay, this is 2 tablespoons of butter. Remember, we use 6 for the roux tablespoons, and we use this last 2 for the breadcrumbs. Okay, all right. And I'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like. I'm back and see I have a request for a young lady that wants me to make a meal for $50 for Valentine's Day for 2 in a family. 2 people, not 2 in a family, but 2 people. And so I made, this is the macaroni and lobster, okay? This is finished, this is how it looks. And I made, to go with it, these are string beans, and I put little nuts in them, okay? You get the string beans right in the package, and you cook them the way that the package say. Only takes about 10 minutes for the whole thing. These are frozen, okay? And then I made a steak. Now the steak, you want to make sure you grill it and make sure it's not well done, okay? You know, so don't grill it too long. All right? And then if you want some rolls, you can have some dinner rolls to with it. And don't forget, you need your wine. And I have wine, and I also have apple cider. Okay? sparkling cider, I should say. So you can have your choice. It depends on what you want and what you want to serve. Okay, because some people don't like wine, and that's why I say you can substitute it with sparkling cider. No alcohol at all. Okay, if they want alcohol, then you use alcohol, but be sure that you have your wine for the two of you. And all this meal, you can prepare this meal for about $50 for 2 people. Okay, and you see the macaroni and cheese is a lot for 2 people, so you're gonna have leftovers from your mac and cheese. Okay, and when I was young, after I divorced my first husband, I was single for a while. And about 2 years I was single. And my second husband moved down the street from me. And at that time, I was the membership chairman for NAACP in Pasadena. And so we knew everybody that moved in. So I knew he had moved in, but we hadn't because my job was to contact the new people and invite them to become a member of NAACP. And so, but I never had got around to doing that with him. So I used to take my children for a walk. I had 3 stair steps. And I used to take them for a walk almost every day. And so I met my first husband's father first. So it was in January. I met him before January, but I met my first husband in January, but I met him his father first. And his father stopped me one day because I used to take the kids for a walk around the block every day almost. And so he said, I see you walking around the block all the time with your children. He said, I would love for my son to meet you. You're such a nice lady, because I used to speak to him all the time when I would go past the house. And so he said, I would love for my son to meet you. And I said, oh yeah, I know you all moved here. And he said, I live with my son. And so I said, yeah, I didn't know that anybody lived with him, but I knew because, you know, we would get the names of the people that move in the neighborhood. And so he said, well, would you meet my son? I said, oh yeah, I meet him. Because I said, I planned to meet him because I'm a membership chairman of NAACP, and I hadn't got around to yet letting him know and welcome him to the neighborhood. And so he said, okay, I want you to meet him because you're such a nice lady, and he got about 7 girlfriends, and they're all over LA and everywhere, and I don't like that. And I just be upset because he be gone all the time. And I feel that since you're down the street and you're such a nice lady, and he can meet you. I said, okay, that's fine, that's fine. So that was in maybe like November or October the prior year. So when I told him yes, when his son came home, he told his son, I met this nice lady. I see her all the time more than her kids, and I told her I want her to meet you. And his son said, you crazy? I don't want to meet that lady. That lady got all them kids. I don't want no lady with all them kids. So he said, oh, well, she's so nice. I mean, you know, and so he said, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to have nothing to do with her because I don't know how many kids she got, but I know she got a lot of them. And no, I don't want to meet her. And so one day in February, me and my children it was a Sunday afternoon, and I was on my way taking them for a drive in Altadena. I was going to take them up in Altadena in the hills and show them go for a drive. Sometimes I used to do that. And so I said, oh, I told the kids, had 3 of them in the car, I said, listen, let us stop and see this old man here because his son never came to see me, and I don't know what happened. I said, so let's stop. So they said, okay, Mama, let's stop. I said, and we're going for the drive. So they said, okay, Mama, let's stop. So, okay, so I pulled my car over, and I went and knocked on the door, rang the doorbell. And so I had told my kids, you stay in the car, and if it's okay for you to us to come in, I'll come and get you. So they say, okay, Mama. So I rang the doorbell, and when I rang the doorbell, he answered the phone. He answered the door, and he says, "I said, I'm Dorothy Palmer. I was Palmer then." I say, "And your father wanted me to meet you, and it was about 2 months ago or more, and I haven't heard from you, so I just stopped to see what's going on." So he said, "Come on in, come on in. Oh, come on." I said, "Well, no, I got my kids in the car. I have to go get them." "Let them come in, go get them." I said, "Okay, then I'll come in." And so he said, so he was folding up his clothes. He had washed his clothes. He was folding up his clothes. And so that's how we met. So Valentine's Day, he took me out to dinner, and we went and had steak and lobster, and that was our first date. And so after that, I made dinner for him. And he fell in love with my cooking, and he wanted me to cook for him all the time, and I cooked for him. And that was in February. By December, we was married, and I had 5 kids. And he had sworn that he would never marry, because he only had 2 kids. He would never marry a woman with all those kids. But he fell in love with my cooking, and he was an engineer, so he used to come home, and because he was a department head. And he would come home for lunch just so I could make lunch with him, have lunch with him. That's how he fell in love with my cooking. So I know that one good way to a man's heart is through his stomach, if he know you can cook. So ladies, learn how to cook, because this is a true story. And after we got married, I had 5 kids for him. I had 4 kids and 4 boys and 1 girl for my first husband. My second husband, I had 4 girls and 1 boy, just the opposite. But very true story. And I know what cooking will do for you. Okay? So try these meals, and thank you, young lady, for asking me to show you what to make for you and your significant other on Valentine's Day. And happy eating to you. See you next time.